Hi, it's we from Week on Wargaming here with another tournament report. This is going to be a bit of a summary from a few weeks ago, a tournament from a few weeks ago. It's presented by the Age of Sigmar folks at the Fan Expo. So this was a 3-round, 2,000 point GHB 2018 tournament. I believe around 10 people attended. It was very unique. So before I go into the games, let me just describe this. A Fan Expo, for those of you that don't know about Fan Expo, is this very large convention. I guess like it's similar to like a San Diego Comic Con, but Toronto scale. So obviously not that scale, but it's decent. It's very decent. I mean, Toronto is the largest city in Canada, right? So it draws quite a crowd. So it's hosted in the downtown Metro Toronto Convention Center, and there was I don't know, a very large room which was dedicated to kind of like board gaming and tabletop gaming. A lot of different board games that were in that same room with us, but we were the only tabletop gaming. So there's no 40K, there's no War Machine. I don't know how they did it, but the Age of SixMar guys were able to get Age of Sigmar out there, and it definitely drew a lot of interest. I would say it's a very visible place, and it's actually a really great venue. I mean, it's a well ventilated, space is good. It's not too loud because the ceilings are super high, so the noise doesn't bounce around that much. And I thought it was a great time. The one issue is really once you're in there, you're not going anywhere because to get in and out of the venue is like fighting through thousands upon thousands of people, right? So it's like to get down the escalator, you gotta wait 5 minutes to get on through the line to get onto the escalator, right? So that's kind of the scale of like how many people are there, right? It's not like it's a small place that wasn't built for that. I mean, Metro Convention Center is huge, right? So yeah, so it's a great venue. It's a fantastic idea. I mean, the visibility is off the charts, and I think that Age of Sigmar, they always put on a good event, and they had a very good terrain, right? So yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was a fantastic event. Everyone there was very positive about the experience, and I think it's the same thing that you can't really control. It's just the best that you could do, like say next time, is really just say, okay, be prepared that you gotta come early because there's a huge line to get in. You gotta maybe bring a lunch or something. I don't know, because it's gonna be difficult to get in and out and get food. And in the case of myself, I should have brought extra storage, right? So I've already posted the all the battle reports from the 3 games that I had, and so I brought one camera and I brought a laptop because the 64 gig card that I have in there, I mean, surprisingly, it's finishing one game in like above 2 hours. That eats up like say 50 of those gigs. So they're huge files, which is fine. It can be done. But what I normally do is you take the micro SD card out of the camera, and then put it into the computer, pull it off, and then format it, and then throw for the next one in that same card, and you're good to go, right? Like there's plenty of space. And what happened was that I forgot the adapter, the SD card adapter for the micro SD, so so I was really left with like 10 gigs for the remaining 2 games. I didn't bring an extra card. I didn't bring anything, and I couldn't find anyone that had like a phone that I could like plug a micro SD card into and like at least connect that to the computer. I've had a juror like that before, so I really should have learned my lesson from that time. But yeah, so basically what happened is that I had to basically do what I did, which is in the video is take a time lapse, and I record the audio separately so you can hear the entire game, but the visual is really compressed. Like it's like however many photos in time lapse that it was, but yeah, so it's not going to sync up that well. I mean, it doesn't sync up at all, realistically. But you can hear the whole game, at least, and you can kind of see the progression, although it goes by really quick. So I thought, okay, in post, I can like really stretch it out, and like, maybe it'll be like a super slow time lapse. But as far as on the technical end, unless I don't know what I'm doing, which is highly possible. I stretched it out basically the maximum, which is like 4 times the length. But when you're doing a time lapse, that's like, okay, 4 times the length of 2 minutes is 8 minutes, and this entire audio file is, I don't know, an hour and 45 minutes. So what happens is I basically stretch it out as maximum as possible, slowed it down as maximum as possible, so that way it doesn't turn over the photos that quickly, and then basically went off loop for the rest of the thing. So unfortunately, that's what I had to do, but hopefully that still is something of value that people will enjoy. So just to go over my games real quick. So the first game that I played was against Caleb. He was running a Spider Fang army, all spiders, and it's really unique. I mean, you'll never see a Spider Fang army like ever. I don't think anyone was expecting him to bring that. No, I mean, who brings Spider Fang guns? Really? Who throws a shoe? Really? But yeah, it was a fantastic game. I mean, it looked really bad for him in the beginning because he had this one really large unit of Spider Fang spiders, and so of course when you have like a 20-man unit, my triple blade claw catapults love that, and it's like, all right, sweet, just explode, and then battle shock off. But so there's those two kind of netted off against each other, and ultimately I was able to take that kind of right hand side of the table. But rats can only go so many different ways. They're not so mobile. He's way more mobile, and ultimately he was able to push in and break through my lines on the other side of the table, and he was able to take it because basically I could not hold him back that much longer. Those big spiders, I mean, when you're buffing and buffing and buffing, they're just gonna run through my monks, right? So they're good because they're just high volume, and there's a lot of like they're relatively durable, and the monks don't care about mortals, right? But they care about high volume like damage. It's like, are you gonna make me take like 46 plus saves? Okay, well, probably gonna lose all these guys, right? So, anyways, so that's the first game. The second game I played against was against Chris Sly. So he is part owner, full owner, I'm not sure exactly, of Lords of War Lords of War games in Oakville, and he brought his very nice Megakin army. So this is like, he's got Rodriguez, he's got a Great and Clean one, he's got Puscoil Blight Lords or whatever they're called, and he's got Blight Kings, right? So a very quick, very choppy army. Although Puscoils, people say are not optimal, it seemed pretty good to me. And we were playing. Basically, Megakin is awful for me. It's an awful matchup, especially stuff like that, because I throw in so many points into these catapults. They basically do nothing, right? Because as it says in the flavor text, Nurgle units find the catapults refreshing. So it only does wounds on 6s, and then exactly for Pestilence, the worst type of matchup is like a high volume, like damage army, which is exactly what he does. And he moves super quick, and it's very difficult for me to hold him off, really, right? So, so that then he was able to just completely just wipe me out. The only reason why I got a point was because I was like, all right, forget this. I'm just gonna burn all my own points. As stupid as that seems, maybe I should have just burned all my own points. Like, I could have did one earlier that might have got me a little bit more points, but realistically, I was gonna lose this game. I was not gonna be able to get to his own points, and he's gonna max out on those points. So it's like, okay, well, what am I gonna do with that, right? Like, anyways, so that was the second game, game two. It was a great fun game. He's a great guy, and he knows his stuff, and yeah, so quite enjoyed playing him, even though I got stomped into the ground. So that's how it goes. And the third game I played was against Christian. I can't pronounce his last name, but I'm just gonna call him Christian. That is his name. Christian is also running Magican. Like, damn, so many Magican. Everyone plays this damn army. But he played a totally different style of Magican. He had two very large blocks of plague bearers, which they're very durable. It's difficult to shift. It takes a lot to kill them. But he also had a Great Unclean one, and he also had Archeon for some reason. I think that he likes the bravery shenanigans that Archeon can do, and also he's a wizard and some of that. Like, and he's cool, right? Archeon's just cool, which I agree. He's super duper cool, but not that optimal. But yeah, anyways, this mission was like a relocation orb, and if you ever played relocation orb, you find that the way that the orb decides to relocate can make life very easy or very difficult. And so he had a turn one. He was able to bump up and charge me and kind of lock me down in place for long enough that the orb kind of squirted towards his side, and he was able to start racking up points while I was dispatching of all the damn plague bearers, right? So I was able, of course, I was able to like knife my way through all those plague bearers, but can't get on that objective, can't get on that orb. What are you gonna do, So, I think at the end of the day, I did table his army, basically. We just called it that, like, Archeon would be dead to 40 more plague monks, and but he was way up on points, so. Anyways, that's basically the entire tournament. The overall winner was from the Drunken Dreadnoughts, Curtis Clouet with his Nagash army. Nagash, and he had some mortars and stuff like that. Some sort of shenanigans, I'm sure. And then the second place, I want to say, was Jordan's army with the thrice-fold befoulment. So, in a tournament of like about 10 guys, the thrice-fold befoulment was like the second. Chris Lai had another Magican army, and I played another Magican army. This is like 3 out of the 10, and of which one is me. So it's maybe I need to stop playing Pestilence. Magican's going to be all over the place. Anyways, I'll be back with another report on the Sword and Brush